Good evening, and today's topic is Dragons and Dungeons. It is about, let me see, 1:16 a.m., and I'm pretty tired. And I was really not in the mood to make this video, but someone asked me about Dragons and Dungeons and what it is. It's like, off the record, guys, it's a fan edition. There you go. There's a big difference about or between how Wizards of the Coast designs a new edition, and how I would do it. Um, anyway, to get to the point, Dragons and Dungeons is basically an RPG or form of D&D that is based on the first 100 issues of Dragon Magazine. Okay? And it uses the first 7 books for first edition AD&D as a kind of structure. Okay, and it's a configuration-based RPG. In it for free. I don't want any money for this, of course. Um, and what I'm gonna do? Oh wow! It's so humid in here. My first edition books are literally sticking together. I don't know if that's a good thing. Anyway, so I'm going to be walking on and off camera a little bit just to get the required materials for you. And we can start with the first 3 books for first edition D&D. Monster Manual, I have to be gentle with these. Player's Handbook and Dungeon Master's Guide. These form a complete game, and some people out there, they don't want anything more than those 3 books, and that's actually, I think, a pretty cool way to approach the game. It's not the only one. And then getting back to the concept of configurations, I mean, technically, all of the other books, let's think in binary. You could set them all to 0, so Deities and Demigods, Fiend Folio, Monster Manual to Unearthed Arcana. Yeah, set those to 0, and then for Dragon Magazine, set, it's either 1 or a 0, set them all to 0, and, well, I guess technically, that is a configuration. Okay, so hopefully I don't get in trouble over that, but what can you do, right? And I hope I'm not confusing people too much, right? So just, imagine like a list of 7 books. Yeah, I'm getting be patient. And then a list of the articles, from the first 100 issues of Dragon Magazine. So another way to think of it, instead of thinking in binary terms, you could just think, oh, okay, I like that article, check mark, oh, I hate that article, X, etc., 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 right? And this is actually nothing new under the sun. I know there's a lot of people out there who have been playing D&D and or AD&D for literally decades, and eventually someone's going to say, well, oh, you know what? We've been doing the same thing, all of these years. Exactly. It's nothing new under the sun. It's just a little bit more prominent when it comes to that, I think. All right, so Deities and Demigods, number 4, and gently put it over there. And then number 5, Fiend Folio. And then number 6, here we start to see change in the format, of course. All right. Sorry, I forgot what I just said. Monster Manual 2, and that is book number 6. Book number 7, Unearthed Arcana. Okay. And there you go. So those are the 7 books. Now, where on earth are we going to find 100 issues of Dragon Magazine? Off my shelf. So here you go. This has the first 250 issues. And some people might be wondering, well, why just the first 100? It's good to start with a limited amount of data and or information, That's part of it. And also, there's this subtitle for this group, the Gygaxian Resistance. So, in the light of that, it's like, okay, the Gygaxian era of Dungeons and Dragons and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons was basically, let's say, 1974 to 85. Okay, now the first 100 issues of Dragon magazine that begins in 1976, and it goes up to 1985. Okay, so um, Oriental Adventures was released in 1985, but I decided not to include any Oriental content here. Hold on, hold on. Yeah, there's a lot of first edition AD&D fans that are, angry at me right now for one reason or another. Don't, no, no worries. So there's Dragons and Dungeons, 1 to 100. And then if I live long enough, which I hope I will, then I'll do Advanced Dragons and Dungeons, which of course is going to be based on the first 200 issues of Dragon magazine. And good news for the Oriental Adventure fans. Literally, there's enough content there for an Oriental Adventures too. All right, so hopefully that will happen in a few years. But anyway, yeah, back to 1976 to 1985. That's pretty much the Gygaxian era of Dragon magazine as well. Now, people who know the magazine will point out that there were a handful of other articles by him after 100. For example, there's one in 102, right? So there you go. And I mean, I'm not angry at, Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro. They're going to do what they're going to do, right? But the way that they approach it and the way that I approach it is very, very different. So we have the concept of configurations, right? I mean, what I just showed you, well, it's enough to last a long, long, long time, let me think. What should I talk about? Yeah, getting back to the whole, the Gygaxian resistance thing, I hope that people don't get nasty at one another, for that concept. For me, it's just kind of like, that's the math that was there in, the first edition AD&D books. That was the first thing that came to mind. But yeah, I mean, designing things, well, there's the concept of configuration, which I said before. And then also another thing too is that what I want to do is, it's definitely not like a second edition of any kind, which, Gary, he wanted a second edition. It is going to be, perhaps the most extreme configuration where I'm, like, oh, cool, 100 issues of Dragon magazine. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use all of them. Yeah. Pretty crazy, but I think I get points for attitude. However, out of respect for the memory of Gary Gygax, I decided, well, okay, the first playtest campaign that I do, I will try to do it in a Gygaxian style, okay? So, even though I like weapon type versus armor type, and even though I like psionics, in the playtest campaign, they won't be there, right? So, now, if you really, really are into Gygaxian D&D and or AD&D, especially AD&D, there is something that you probably already know about called Adventures Dark and Deep. The author is Mr. Joseph Block. Okay, that, from all I've heard, is the true second edition for the game. Wow, So, my first campaign, I think people will have fun. I hope they do. And I hope that this fan project is something that stands the test of time, so that in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, people will be having fun with the first 7 books and 100 issues of Dragon magazine to start, right? So that is a basic oral description of... Oh man, there's so much more I want to say. And now I'm less tired now that I'm thinking of it. To me, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's really more intended for the fans of Dragon magazine. Okay, so we've crossed the 9-minute mark, and I'm like, oh fuck, I had so much more to say. Thank you guys for posting here, and the politics stuff that goes on here. The admin team, we just do the best we can. And this year's going to be a difficult year, I think, but let's just soldier on, right? That's what I'm going to do. And over there, this, the PDF, I work from the PDF, and then I use an HTML thing called Netscape Composer, from the Stone Age. or probably before the Stone Age of the internet. So, in summary, at the 10-minute mark, there's so much more I want to say. But in the meantime, always remember you're finding your friends and your imagination. Um, there you go. All right. So I'll hopefully do a better video about the thing later. Okay. Bye for now.